Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Matchbook Betting Exchange Irish St. Ledger Preview Podcast. I'm joined, as always, by the Lily White Assassin, Dylan. Good to see you. We're down to the last 12 in the Ledger. Hard to believe we're this far in.
Yeah, nearly there now. And 12 cracking dogs left, two brilliant semi-finals, and yeah, you won't feel it coming out till we're down to six, and all the excitement of who's going to win the Ledger.
Yeah, we'll be chatting for about 20-25 minutes about the Ledger action, but the actual remaining Ledger action is less than a minute and a half, believe it or not. The ongoing theme, of course, with Matchbook Betting Exchange is how much it has beaten the industry SP over the last couple of weeks. And again, last week in the quarterfinals, it was very much a similar scenario. Given the profile of the dogs and their prices, there were never going to be massive disparities, but there was differences there all the same. And for a €20 stake, just look at the difference over there on the right-hand side of your screen, the guts of a €20 difference over the four of them for a €20 bet on each of them. Dearjet Sydney 238, industry SP, Matchbook price at the off 266. That 266 looks pretty generous still in hindsight.
Yeah, I was sitting down Saturday night, had the laptop at the ready. I was happy enough with the 2.66 and the same after it with Park Lake. So when you got the first two over the line, you were happy. The last two heats, I think we probably touched on it last week. I know you were sweet enough on Russian Glory, to be fair. For me, it was kind of more of an interest bet than anything, but the two main ones won anyway from a betting perspective. And like you said, the value again was with Matchbook.
Yeah, that 3.4 Russian Glory. I actually got a bit bigger. I think I might be the reason it was only returned 3.4. Had a little chunk on just before the off. Part Blake 2.6 as opposed to 2.25 industry SP. We were both fancying him pretty strong. We thought 5-4 would be a hell of a price, which is the 2.25. If it had been 2, it wouldn't have surprised me. Nice and generous, that 2.6, and Ballymacguard 3.3. We were sort of up in the air in that heat. To be honest, I wouldn't have backed her at the prices, but if you were fancying her, she was 2.75 industry SP. She's returned 3.3 on Matchbook at the off. That doesn't surprise me. A few people willing to take her on what looked a pretty open heat, but she was a fairly willing winner, shall we say, Dylan?
Yeah, she was. Look, she did everything right. Over that trip, that's probably as good as she is. I was looking back, I think she's only 5 or 6 runs over 550. And I think that's her second time to bounce out, make all, and do, I think she did 29.66 twice. So, that's probably as good as she is over that trip and what she's shown so far. She's been around a bit. She's plenty of races on her card. But look, like I say, it was an open heat, and you kind of felt whatever maybe got on the bunny had a big chance. And look, personally, I was a little bit surprised she won, just for the simple fact when I seen Priceless Jet as close as he was down the back. I thought the writing was on the wall, but he never got by her. And like you said, she was game, and she's there for another week. She's in the semi-final now, and the Dowlands will be happy enough with her.
We'll touch upon all this now in the coming minutes. Just a reminder that these are just the winners. The SPs on the remainder. I know it doesn't help if you're not on a winner, but let's say something was returned an industry SP at around 9. You can be absolutely certain it was 12 or 14 on the Matchbook exchange. So the value is there. Sometimes you don't back a winner, but if you feel you've got the value, you're not quite as upset, Dylan, after the race. There's nothing worse than backing a dog. You think, oh, I'm not sure if that was the right price. I think I went in too low, and it gets beat. You're sick with yourself. Before we go on any further, of course, we are still doing the special offer. Bet €10, get €10 free when you open an account with Matchbook Betting Exchange using the bonus code Greyhounds, all in capitals. Now, Dylan, let's look back at that last action from Limerick last Saturday evening. 4 wonderful performances. I suppose the standout once again was Park Blake. He's just looking the complete package. This was a greyhound. We thought, okay, he's a bit of a springer. He looks a real nice dog, potential Ledger winner. We're now looking at him going, this is a potential superstar. Like this dog could go achieve anything in the sport.
Yeah, he's been exceptional. What he did the other night was unbelievable. You spoke last week about kicking yourself over missing some of the value. I know hindsight's a great thing, but we touched on it here last week about his outright price before last week. I think was it 9 point? Was he 9 point something? I think
he was in around 9.2. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Now, like I said last week as well, I don't see anything in the competition off a level breaker at and leading him. And I hummed and hawed before he ran last Saturday night. I thought, will I take a bit of that or won't I? And I ended up leaving it. I was fairly sick after the race, let me tell you. But no, he's, what he did the other night was exceptional. Like 17:02 to the third corner, 28:24. It's scary, he's that instant acceleration when he hits the ground is just, and what he does from 2 to 3, then he just, he's making top class greyhounds almost look ordinary, and they're not by any means, but that's the way he's making them look to what he does to the third bend. And yeah, look, he'll take some beating, once. I think if he keeps just coming away, I think barring accidents at the boxes, I think he's going to be extremely difficult to beat.
Yeah, he sure is. We'll be looking at the anti-post prices in a moment or two. Just the other heat winners we have to touch upon. Dearjet Sydney, we spoke of, perfectly housed in the fence, popped out, challenged into the bend with Gumbo Showman all for the best, stays tight to the rails, goes to the front. As professional as you like, I suppose it's what we were fully expecting from him. Fast Fit Paddy ran a fantastic race in second and all for the best back in third. On to the other heat winners then. We had Ballymacgart, we've touched upon, you've already mentioned the 29.66 from the front, just doing everything right. And then my old pal Russian Glory, a dog who's having just a 7th race last Saturday night, popped out, beat the likes of Ballymac Wild, Glengar Bale, Drayhan Jet, Tyrap Luke and Balliard Taylor. He's going the right way. Whereas he doesn't have a ceiling, most of their rivals do. For that reason, I'm making him the main danger to Park Blake. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%. And look, he's done nothing wrong himself. He's been exceptional. He has been overshadowed by what Park Blake has done, which is absolutely fair enough. But he deserves every bit of credit as well, because he's been exceptional and he's done, like I said, nothing wrong. His clocks have been good. Obviously, he just has, I think, a very special greyhound in the shape of Park Blake, probably overshadowing him. But again, like you say, it was only a 7th race the other night. He's still young. He's going to improve further. And yeah, he's been brilliant, and no question, he looks the main threat to Park Blake.
Well, let's take a look at the anti-post betting. That's it. In order to know the future, you have to look to the past. We've done our recap. Now let's look ahead. Park Blake, you see there, 305. That's perfectly fair. He's a 2-to-1 chance. By all accounts, if he traps on level terms, he's going to be in front off the second bend. He's going to be in front into the bend. He's going to go on and land the spoils. He gets a favourable draw in the final. He won't be a shade of 305. Ballymac Wild is 4.6. I thought that was about right. Maybe a fraction bigger you could go. Park Blake is on his inside, is going to lead him. Just if he did happen to miss the kick, you never know. There's a lot of strong runners in against him. Dearjet Sydney, 6.2. I think I'd want a fraction bigger. He's out in 3 in the semi-finals, but we know exactly how good he is. He probably should lead up Sweep the Yard and Ballymacmurran. If he gets to that fence without hassle, he's going to be in the final. Russian Glory is the one that jumps out at me, though, Dylan. I have to tell you, 7.2. Again, if he just does what he's been doing, improves every night, 29, let's just look at his 29.71, 29.60, 29.54. Let's say he does a 29, beg your pardon, that's Dearjet Sydney, beg your pardon, 29.91, 29.43, 29.44. Let's say he does that 29.40 again and pops out, gets lovely room because Dearjet Sydney's edging inwards. He's in the final. That's 7 point. Surely he's not going to be a shade of 7.2 if he's in the final.
No, it's big now, in fairness. I'd probably have him. I'd have him much closer to Park Blake. Like you say, I think he is the main threat, and like you say, he is the one that could improve further. I think with like them 29.40 runs, I think the likes even Dearjet Sydney, Ballymac Wild, you're not going to do much better than that, I don't think so anyway, it just...
Those two greyhounds are exposed. We know how good they are, and they're exceptional. They're top class, but they have reached their ceiling. Like, they're not getting any better in their careers. Whereas the likes of Park Blake and Russian Glory, who have both gone faster than both Ballymac Wild and Dearjet Sydney, haven't reached their ceiling. So who's to say they can't go that bit faster in the future?
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, I am a bit surprised that he's that big, Russian Glory. To be honest, I'd probably have him second fav. I'd definitely have him pretty close to Ballymac Wild anyway on what we've seen so far. There's, like you say, he hasn't put a foot wrong, and there's probably more improvement to come from him. So, you know what, he's the standout on that. But like I say, I'm struggling to see past Park Blake now. It's probably like you say, if you wanted to have a bet on him, you're backing him now because he ain't going to be that in the final. I think no matter what way he gets to it, on what he's done already, he's going to be extremely difficult to beat.
Yeah, Barry goes 3 clear and fades home and is beaten 3. There's no reason why he should be any shorter than 305. If he misses the kick and still qualifies, people will go, well, we'll forgive him that run. He's still the one to beat in the final because he's there. Russian Glory, as we've touched upon, 7.2. It just, I cannot see how he's not even favoured to win his second semi-final, and yet, the likes of Dearjet Sydney is a shorter price than him. Of course, there is a bit of a gap there between blue and red. That market will develop over the next 24 hours or so. So make sure you keep touching upon it and looking in, because who's to know? That Park Lake 305 could get bigger, could get shorter, but it could get bigger. Again, Dearjet Sydney might drift out, Ballymac Wild could drift out. So make sure you keep returning to that market, because there will be value to be had apart from that 7.2 Russian Glory. Outside of them, anything at the bigger prices, Dylan, that catches your eye. I see Price's Jet there is about a 17. I think that's perfectly fair about a Greyhound. Do I think probably will be in the final? I think he'll lead up fast with Paddy and off of the best. I had this argument with Tommy Lyons earlier in the week. I have the opinion that Price's Jet will be certainly third, if not second, going into the opening corner.
Yeah, I've just been a bit disappointed with him so far. Maybe that's me being hard. I thought he ran well the first night, to be fair, behind Scooby Princess. I was a little bit disappointed with him the last 2 nights.
Last week, was it not a case of the bitch took his racing line off the final bend when he was just ready to pounce? If he had been a half length further back, he'd have switched to the inside and gone to the front. I just thought that when he was trying to make his move, she was edging across him. There was a little bump.
Yeah, look, maybe so. I don't know. I look back on it again. I don't even think he got past her to pick up either. I could be wrong now. I'm nearly sure I checked that and he didn't. I think it was in the sweep the yard that was third and that he.
Yeah, he
flew on.
On the inside. Yeah,
he ran really well actually. Yeah, look, he could I'm not saying he won't qualify, but he just wouldn't be for me in his last 2 runs. I just have been a little bit disappointed with him in the last 2 nights. But he could turn handy. I think he's got a decent draw, although in saying that, All for the Best absolutely flew out last week. If you were on Dearjet Sydney, I don't know what the rest of you were like, but going around that first bend last week, I thought I was in serious trouble. I couldn't believe All for the Best was as close as he was. But to be fair, it's one of them heats. You wouldn't rule absolutely not at this stage. You wouldn't rule anything out anyway. But it's a really, really open heat. I think apart from Park Lake, who could once again flash out lead, I think after that you could make a case for all of them. They're all strong runners as well, and it could be just a matter of which of them turns second, which of them turns third.
At this stage, that's at this stage in the competition, 12 runners left, 2 semi-finals, 3 to qualify. You have to look at the market with a view to what has a chance of qualifying at a big price, and that's where I'm at. I just thought Price's Jet might qualify. Of the remainder, anything else catch the eye there at the bigger prices, Dylan?
Yeah, look, again, I'm probably like a broken record at this stage. Every week you ask me this question, I come down on the same dog, and I've no reason to change it for the simple fact he's a big price, and I can personally still see him in the final, and that's All for the Best. I just can't see him. Every week I struggle to see him out of money, and if he does a 281 like he did the other night and goes up the way he did, he'll be in the final. And like you say, after that, then you're going to need luck in the final, no doubt. But I just think at them prices there, he's 22 there. I'd be happy enough to take a chance on him again.
Yeah, All for the Best at 22. I can see where you're coming from. It's just one of those races where if he doesn't take the flyer, he's going to have to be coming from behind a different type of Greyhound this week. Greyhounds that are absolutely hammering all the way to the winning line, and it's just a case of he's going to need to be at his sharpest. Now, the same has to be said for his rivals. Boyd Sports Bingo needs to do everything right. Fast Fit Paddy needs to do everything right. Price's Jet needs to do everything right. We're assuming that Park Lake and Ballymac Wild will probably go up and run their races from the front. They are the big two in the market, no question about that. But as you say, just look for something with a bit of value on the outside, or even Boyd Sports Bingo on the inside, something that you think could get the final, because at their respective price at the present, they won't be that in the final. There's no question. Their price will be considerably shorter in the final. In the second semi-final, the bigger price ones, Sweep the Yard is well drawn in red. Ballymacmurlan's in 2. His chance really does depend on whether he can clear Sweep the Yard in those opening 5 yards, because Dearjet Sydney will be coming in on him very quickly. On the outside of them, Ballymac Art, who was good early speed, she's just probably on the wrong side of the early speed in the race. And Ballyard Taylor, who ran a remarkable race to qualify last week, he's 75. That's respective of his chance. Whereas he did run a big race last week, he's going to be miles behind the top runners to halfway, and that's going to be a problem for him. Let's look more in depth at those 2 semi-finals, Dylan, before we end this chat here this morning. The opening semi-final, we've spoken of them. Boyle Sports Bingo, Park Blake, Ballymac Wild, Fast Fit Paddy, Prices Jet, and All for the Best. In an ideal world, in the most likely scenario, the script is going to read what?
I have it down here. I agree with what you said earlier. I think Park Blake leads up and wins. I think Ballymac Wild off a level break probably turns behind them, and All for the Best runs on to qualify. They'd be my 3. But like I said, I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised if Park Blake doesn't win. After that, nothing would surprise me, if I'm being honest. What finish the second or third? It's just one of them heats. It's all about what happens early. They're all strong runners, but I can see a 2-3-6. But like I said, 2 to win and Atton to finish second and third. I wouldn't be one bit surprised.
Yeah, this market will go up tomorrow. I'm intrigued by it. I think Park Blake will be short. I think Ballymac Wild will obviously be clear second favourite and not too far behind Park Blake. But thereafter, it's a strange way to price it. You got some very, very fast greyhounds. Just goes to show the strength of this year's Matchbook betting exchange, Irish St. Leger. You've got 4 greyhounds there outside the big 2 that have run in top company. Prices Jet is a classic winner, and yet he could be 8 or 10 to 1 on the night. For that semi-final alone. Boyle Sports Bingo is the dog that was second in the juvenile derby in this time. He went very close to winning a Gold Cup earlier this year. All for the Best is a real powerhouse. Won a valuable stake at Shelburne Park recently in top company. And Fast Fit Paddy is a dog who he's had 24 starts, but you can be absolutely certain that those 24 starts have been only in the very, very best of company. It's a quality contest. I agree with you. I think Park Blake will go around in front. Probably Ballymac Wild second, although, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Prices Jet is right bang up there challenging Ballymac Wild for second spot into the opening corner. I think those 3 will qualify 2, 3 and 5. You're going with 2, 3 and 6, am I right?
That's it, hopefully.
So we're basically agreeing with a small change in opinion as regards third spot. I'll hold it over to you next week, don't worry about that. On to the second semi-final, and here, what'll start favourite? I have no doubt Rushing Glory. Well, I have no doubt Rushing Glory should start favourite. That doesn't mean he will start favourite. Dearjet Sydney has a very loyal following. A lot of people that have made a lot of money on him over the years. He's won 17 of his 37. If you were having level stakes on him throughout his career, I'm sure you'll be in front.
Yeah, yeah. Rushing Glory should be favoured, but I'm not sure he will. You'd be a brave man to make Dearjet Sydney favourite in that heat now out in 3. You know what he's going to do. He's going to go straight in. Yeah, I just don't really know why Rushing Glory is as big as he is in the outright market, and why, on what he's done so far in this competition. Why, you should look at this and think to yourself, well, Rushing Glory's going to go off favourite in this heat anyway. Dearjet Sydney probably second favourite, but yeah, Rushing Glory should be favoured, but I just have a feeling, I think for some reason Dearjet Sydney probably will. Although I think closer to the race itself, I think it'll be very close. I don't think there'll be much in it. Just Dearjet Sydney's draw will be a worry. Look, in fairness to him, out of the 38 races he's ran, he's been in the first 3 32 times. he finds a way to qualify. But yeah, I think Rushing Glory has a good make-up here, and he's probably the one to beat if he pops out.
Let me put it to you this way. He is the one to beat. Okay, we know he's absolutely guaranteed a clear run into the opening corner. He's gone up in 290, 282 and 281. He's getting better. His times are 29.43, 29.44 the last 2 weeks. He's just doing everything right. He hasn't reached the ceiling. He's just gone 2 years of age. He's trained by Graham Holland. He's won 4 of his 6 starts. That's correction. That should be 5 of his 7, isn't that right?
5, 7,
they haven't updated on the card just yet. He's won 5 of his 7. He's only been out of the frame once in that time. That was because he was badly balked. Perhaps Funnily enough, the one time he was out of the frame was the one night that he really caught my eye in the
Yeah,
juvenile derby.
Shelburne.
He showed unbelievable pace that night. I think Russian Glory is the complete package. And I think in 2 weeks' time, we could be thinking, imagine not taking some of that 7.2 one with the opportunity where he was absolutely ideally drawn in the semi-finals, look guaranteed to be in the final. I'm all over Russian Glory. I think Dear Jet Sydney is obviously the danger. But whereas he has to concentrate and get into the fence, Russian Glory doesn't. He'll go up reasonably straight from 4. He'll edge in on the bend. But by that point, he could have a length on Dear Jet Sydney. And if he has a length on Dear Jet Sydney, there's only going to be one result. It's going to finish Russian Glory, Dear Jet Sydney, and the rest can battle it out for third. For third spot, this is where it does get intriguing, Dylan. Sweep the Yard is very well drawn if he does things right. Dear Jet Sydney will be there, but Sweep the Yard is not afraid to move off the fence. But he has to clear Ballymacmurlan earlier, because if he doesn't, he's not going to be passing Ballymacmurlan down the back straight, because that's where Ballymacmurlan does all his racing. He's exceptionally fast. Ballymacart, we know what she's going to do. Just if she's led by the likes of Russian Glory early, I'm not sure she'll be able to hold on to qualifying spot, especially if Dear Jet Sydney's front of her. She could be vulnerable to the likes of Sweep the Yard, Ballymacmurlan, and Ballyard Taylor, who's on the outside. He won't figure early, but he'll be finishing like a train. It really is intriguing from start to finish, this.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Excuse me. You wouldn't even rule out Ballyard Taylor on what he did last week. It was a savage run. Sweep the Yard, he's just 297, 298, 305. If he does that again, I think he's probably going to go out this week. But he's a really good record in terms of, he doesn't win much, but I think he's out of 19 races, I would trap one. I think he's only been out of the first 3 twice. And he did run really well last week, to be fair. I know it was easier the heats.
If you gave me evens him beating 297, I think I'd take it. Semi-final of a Ledger, this dog would be fully tuned. I'd expect him to do a 290.
Yeah, and he can trap. That's the thing. I've been a bit surprised by how sluggish he has been away, because we know he's not blessed with early, but he can trap, I thought Ballymacmurlan had a squeak, but the question mark over him is Dear Jet Sydney on his outside. Now, I know there's no point talking about it because it's not happening, but had the draw between 3 and 4 been the other way around, there's something about Ballymacmurlan. I think he's running really well, and he's going up to the bend well. Again, it's just them early splits. I know he's some 286, 287, but I think in this company, he's probably going to have to go low 280s. But I think if he does, he's a player. I actually thought he might finish second. I just am worried about Dear Jet Sydney's draw, because he is, it depends on what's going to happen on his inside. If he comes out level with Ballymacmurlan, they're going to come together. I kind of had it down a 4-2-3 and possibly even a 4-2-6. I just am slightly worried I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he goes through, but I'm a bit worried about Dear Jet Sydney.
As you can see, I have a guest. We'll ask her her opinion in a moment. This is the second semi-final. I think we're just about done anyway, which is good timing on my daughter Saoirse's behalf. I'm going to go with 4-3, and I have a feeling Merlin might clear Sweep the Yard early, and if he does, I think he'll qualify. If he doesn't, I think Sweep the Yard. I think Sweep the Yard will qualify. They're the 3 for me, but it really is a cracking Ledger. Looking forward to Dylan. You're going to head down on Saturday night, saving yourself for the final.
No, I'll go down. I'll go down both weeks. I'll go down tomorrow night, and I'll head down for the final too. So looking forward to it. So
you're all over Part Blake, but the Russian Glory is the dog representing the value in the outright market. I agree with you in both parts. Semi-finals were very similar. We're fancying the same dogs. It's not inspiring stuff in a sense where we're both fancying what we think should be favourite in the night, Part Blake and Russian Glory. Although Dear Jet Sydney, there is a chance he will dispute favoritism, if not favourite, judging by the outright prices. But we're both fancying Part Blake and Russian Glory. Am I right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, and I'll have fingers crossed from an anti-post perspective that Dear Jet Sydney does go through. One thing I will say about him, to be fair, the first round of the Ledger was his first run in, I think it was over 7 weeks, and he has improved each week as well. So hopefully there's more there, but just hopefully he gets around the first bend in a qualifying position unscathed, and we can relax a bit then.
Yeah, relax a bit. I'm going to tell my daughter to relax a bit in a moment. That's it for us for this week. Reminder, if you want to sign up to a Matchbook betting exchange, bet €10, get €10 free. The bonus code is Greyhounds, all in capitals. But that's it for us for this week on the Matchbook betting exchange, Irish St. Ledger podcast. Next time we'll be talking about you, we'll be down to the final 6. We'll have plenty to talk about again, Dylan. That's it for this morning, however. Best of luck, and thanks again.